This is the weekly energy reading for the week of July 11th. And we're just coming off of a new moon in Cancer, so lots of emotions have been kind of flying around for everyone. A lot of vulnerability and a lot of sensitivity coming out. So just want to check in for this collective to see what our messages are for this week. I'm going to start with the Goddess Guidance deck. What is the overall theme for this week? First opening message. Guardian. You and your loved ones are safe and spiritually protected. And this is a great card for this week with this energy, particularly because, with Cancer season, like I said a moment ago, there's a lot of emotional release that comes out. This is a very vulnerable and heart space centered kind of time. So we're in that energy where maybe we are second guessing ourselves a little bit. Maybe we are, if we're on this path to, whether you resonate with being a light worker or just a path of healing and spiritual growth, it can be intimidating sometimes, and it can feel like you were totally out of your element. And especially as more psychic type of gifts are opening up, your intuition is getting stronger, it can feel like you are a little bit alone. And maybe you're even having some experiences that have caused you to have a little fear. That's also what I'm picking up on. But this card is just reminding us right out of the gate, first message, that you are safe and spiritually protected. So along with that reminder, it is important to really be careful when we're, if you're starting to dabble in this, what you're opening yourself up to. And before I go into a reading or a Reiki healing or even a yoga flow, anywhere I know that I'm opening myself up energetically more, I really intentionally set the space to protect myself, to ask in, Archangel Michael for guidance, my team, my spirit guides, and that helps me a lot. I know, especially with the dream space, my dreams are very, very intense and very vivid. So when I'm having messages through the dream space, if I have not grounded myself and not intentionally set that protection, I will have, some encounters with darker things in my dreams. And I don't say that to scare anyone, but, I even had one last night. I woke up right as I was falling asleep, and I could feel a presence in the room with me. It was like wasn't quite sleep paralysis, but it was like in that lucid state of dreaming. So I quickly asked for Archangel Michael to come in, protect me. And after that, I had some really, really vivid dreams and some old things from the past coming up to be released. But it wasn't scary. I never had that encounter again. So I know it was a longer message, but I think it's really important to keep that in mind right now as we all develop on this journey to really keep ourselves safe. All right, second message. And I did pre-shuffle these cards, but I just like to do a little bit more shuffling on camera. All right, 2 cards came out, so we're going to take them. First one, Cloak of Wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. So this is powerful too, because when we are getting these little hints, these intuition or downloads from our intuition, we always know the answer. As humans, it's very natural for us to go ask for guidance, ask for other people's opinions. And although there's nothing wrong with that, nobody else is in your shoes. Nobody's experiencing exactly what you're experiencing. And so nobody's going to get the messages that you receive exactly the same. So at the end of the day, it will help to talk this over with people who you trust, but know that what's coming through is what's coming through from your heart is really important to pay attention to, because you have the best answers for yourself. And this earth connection, Gaia, be mindful of the planet, come back to earth and stay grounded. It's funny because that came out with that first message, is one way to really protect ourselves is to stay grounded. For me, if I, am doing some energetic work and I really can feel my third eye open, I have to be very diligent about grounding myself, because it's easy to get kind of caught up in that, almost like you're you're living with one foot in the 5D or another reality, one foot in the 3D. And so we're, at the end of the day, we're human and we're here for the human experience. We're on this planet for a reason. So we have to actually stay connected to the planet. And I think that's great too. For me personally, I just got back from a trip where I camped for 4 days in the Virginia mountains, with just no cell service, no power. It was amazing. There was just nothing but nature around me. And I came back from that feeling just incredibly in touch with my body, with my life here on earth, So that's just as important. Don't forget that when you are connecting with this higher energy, this higher frequency energy. Okay, we'll go into the shamanic healing deck and see what could be coming up, or maybe even our way blocking us right now. All right, burden. So this has actually been coming out in a lot of readings lately. And my feeling on this is that right now, but this year especially, we are releasing, 2020 was kind of this catalyst for a lot of people, for the world, to where a lot of just shit came up into the surface to be healed, not just with us personally, but collectively, and all these, this programming that we've been living by, and, everything that goes on in politics. It's like everything has been kind of crashing down and making people question things a lot deeper. So this year, I know for me and a lot of the people who I work with, do Reiki with, this has been a year about releasing, and this summer especially. So the beginning of this year felt pretty challenging for me. I had a lot of endings. I had death in my friend group. I lost an animal. I just kind of got turned upside down. But it was like through that, so much was brought to the surface for me that needed to be released. How I looked at things, my perspective. So releasing this burden is really important this week. Just maybe it's even one message I'm getting particularly is the burden of trying to know everything or trying to rush this process of healing, when that can actually become a burden when we carry it. If we can't really just settle into the moment and appreciate our lessons as they come and be patient, it becomes a burden. So don't let a beautiful experience turn into something that feels forced or feels like a burden. Another message from this deck. It's one of my absolute favorite decks. Feminine energy. And this is very fitting for me in Cancer season, because Cancer season, it's very heart focused. It's very emotional, very watery. So that feminine energy, and this goes for all of us, men, women, whatever you identify with, resonate with, we all have feminine and masculine energy. So getting into our feminine energy or healing that requires opening ourselves up to true vulnerability. It's sexual energy, it's creative energy, it's what worlds are created with. So to remember that, to honor that flow. And there are different ways you can do this through just like really intense self-care. I had a week like that last week where I spent a whole day, from the chiropractor to the massage therapist to meditation, working on my body, working on my heart, my mind, and that to me felt very in my feminine flow, because I was really allowing myself to open up. And it might also be a week that we don't push as much. The masculine energy is more of the doer and the go get things and push forward. Feminine energy is more receptive. So something to ask yourself this week would be, am I really receptive to manifestation? Like what I'm trying to manifest, what I'm trying to bring into the world, am I truly open to receiving that? And do I feel worthy of receiving that? Because that's another really important thing. And with this, the cloak of wisdom, you already know the answer that you seek. To me, that is that feminine energy as well, because, they say women's intuition for a reason. When we are in that energy, when we really open up to that, that's when our heart is speaks to us a lot louder, our heart, our soul. And so just truly focusing on that, getting yourself grounded into that feminine energy this week is going to be really important. and bring a lot of great blessings. All right, let's get a little more specific with that feminine energy. If there's anything to be healed from that, what are the messages could be coming up around that? Be strong. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. And so this is also important to remember as we are moving along this path and allowing these gifts to open up for us. We are going to be faced with challenges. And I'm also getting another message with the feminine energy. The mother wound is coming up very strongly for a lot of people right now. And for the sake of this reading and the link, I'm not going to go into that too much, what the mother wound is. There's a lot of information out there with it. But to be strong, it takes strength to be vulnerable. And a lot of times we associate vulnerability with weakness. Showing our true vulnerability leaves us in a weakened state. But this card is reminding us to be strong. That shows strength, not weakness. And to remember at the end of the day, we are spiritually protected. But we have to believe that, and we have to seek that. So I love those messages together. And who is with us this week? What energy is, all right. What energy is working with us, and the message behind that. One of my all-time favorite cards, Isis, Magic Manifesting. Your dreams, visions, and goals are becoming a reality. Stay focused. So now with all of these cards together, I'm getting a message that we are really trying to bring something to fruition this week, or just right now in general. But this week is when we have the power to really start to move these things forward. And it might not feel like we're moving them as forward. Maybe we're more in this feminine energy state where we are still creating and receiving the messages, the downloads, the intuitive hits for these ideas. And that might mean that it's not the week to push hard and to really make a lot of decisions or force things to happen. But this magic manifesting, be focused, keep focusing on what you want, what you really desire. And I've been getting this download actually for the last few days, so it makes sense that this is coming out. But like for me personally, for example, I know generally what direction I'm going and what I want out of life, whether that's work, love, everything, where I want to live. However, I do go back and forth a decent amount with what that looks like, like maybe what exact location that is, whether I really want a permanent home or whether I still want to have the freedom and flexibility to travel and kind of live on the road for a little while. All these things are kind of running through my mind, but when I start to lose focus, a lot of times we try to manifest something and then maybe we change our mind. It's okay for that to evolve. It's going to change, but we do need to get something specific in our mind, like whether that's a specific goal for this week or a specific goal for the month, for the year, have in mind what it is and then start working backwards from that. Like what steps you can take each day, even if it's overwhelming and you're not sure yet what you want to do or how to get to what you want. But what can you do today? What can you do in the next hour? What can you do tomorrow that's going to push that goal forward to bring that into your reality? So I think that's amazing. I think this is the week of a lot of growth and a lot of ideas coming through. So I want to get 2 more messages. We have one just fell out. Second message. Okay. First one, fairness. This situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. And then the second message, the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. So with these 2 together, I'm feeling like and this might be a very specific message for someone. It does resonate a little bit with me as well. But, if there's something that you feel, an area you feel kind of blocked in, or maybe, another message coming through specifically is an idea that you have that you haven't acted on yet, that you're either worried someone will take, worried someone has already done, you can't do it as well, or you're copying or anything like that. don't worry about that. It's very rare that we're going to come up with a completely original idea or process. However, if you are doing what you love, if you are moving towards happiness and allowing yourself to be happy, like this card says, that's when you will stand out in whatever it is that you're doing. Because the right people will resonate with you. Your tribe will seek you out when you are really just in your power, your personal power. And when you're in your personal power, you're happy. You're going with the flow of things. You are confident in who you are and the message that you have to deliver to the world in whatever way that may look. But just know also, this is, a card, the fairness card comes out when there's sometimes situations like, whether this is with a relationship or some kind of dynamic that might make you question things. Or maybe someone who's trying to stop you in some way or discourage you from what you're doing because they don't understand it. The best thing we can do, first off, do stay strong, stand up for what you believe in, speak your truth. However, don't get caught up in, feelings of anger or frustration or, really just like wanting someone to get theirs, what they deserve and all of that, because that's only going to lower your vibration at the end. Trust, with this Guardian card coming out in the beginning, it's reminding us that we are protected. We do have guidance happening around us, for us, with us. So trust that things are happening out the way they should. Okay, don't get caught up in that feeling of, my life just seems so much harder than everyone else. And for me personally, made that sometimes manifests itself in ways of thinking, like some of my friends they knew what they wanted to do right away, and they went, to school, and they went the corporate route. And even if they don't love their job, maybe they're more financially secure or working towards more of a retirement, kind of the traditional lifestyle. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, some of us, especially who are on this journey, there might be a point where we left everything. We left our job, or we left the city we lived in, the town, and we knew that this just wasn't for us, and we took a leap. And know that that's okay. This is, it's not a race to see who can get there. It's not about worrying about what someone else has, or if that's fair, or life is treating you fair, any of that. Just have faith. That's really coming out in that card for me, is to have faith. And then the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you're being guided. Happiness is your purpose. So I love that card coming out, because when I can settle into faith, to letting things go, not worrying about what people think about what I'm doing, to just follow my happiness, follow my joy, that is when I feel the most aligned. That's when the most creative energy comes through for me and opens up, which is, again, back to that feminine energy. We drop the burden of worrying so much about what other people think or whether something is right or wrong, and just focus more on that feeling of being happy and joyful. Because when we are in that place, when it's true happiness, we feel that contentment for a reason. We really are allowing that joy to come through in everything that we create. Because that's the other message coming through. When we create something and put it out into the world, whether it's an Instagram post or a YouTube video, or maybe an object like a table, like whatever it is that we create in any way, the energy that we are in when we're doing it is how it's going to be received. So we really have to drop the worry of things being right and just do things that make us happy. And one more message coming through is, even if you don't know what it is, maybe you feel completely lost right now, whether you have a great job or relationship or not, but maybe you just are kind of feeling lost, like there's something more, I have no idea what that more is. The key here is, again, to follow your happiness, follow the joy, do the things that you love doing the most, be around people who enjoy those things. Because I guarantee, when we are doing an activity that we love and our vibration is high, we will attract that in some form back into our lives, whether it's a person or a situation, an idea, an answer, we are going to get back what we put out. So really important to focus on that happiness and joy this week. I think that is a beautiful card, or beautiful reading. So please just make sure to take care of yourself this week, to really take the time to ground yourself. And journaling is a great way to do that because it also allows you to get into your creative zone. Like you could have ideas and downloads, or just clear up things, like let out some space in your mind too. When you release these emotions onto paper, you're freeing up some space for other clarity to come through. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you have an amazing week. If you enjoyed the video, like it, give it a share,